Hello, and welcome to Rock Hill Block, where we highlight individuals who are making an impact in our community, as well as individuals who have been impacted. I am Larry Laws, your host. On today's segment of First Home Alliance, we have David Galvez. David is an engineer, a husband, an expectant father, and a new homeowner. Please welcome to our show and congratulate this new homeowner, David Galvez.
Right.
David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And how was your trip in?
It's great. It was about half an hour, not so much traffic coming in.
Yes? And where was you coming from?
I live in Leesburg.
Okay. Yes. I know you've been in the area for a while. Just tell our audience a little bit about you.
I'm originally from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Virginia to be closer to work. I work in Reston. I've been a resident of Virginia for almost 2 years now. I moved to Leesburg with my in-laws, and then from there to our own spot finally.
Yes. Okay. How was it out in Gatesburg?
It was nice. It's where I grew up, so I'm very familiar with it. I've watched it grow into a major city like it is. I like it there. It's always going to kind of still be home.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are still there,
Yeah. Are they homeowners?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
My parents came from El Salvador in
Mm-hmm.
1968, and my dad came first, and
Okay.
they moved around quite a bit, just looking for work, and then he found a job in Maryland, and that's how they ended up there.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
I guess you could say home ownership has always been a big issue for me because we used to live in a little townhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and my parents would talk about like owning the actual home one day, like a single family home, and with my dad in construction, it was always home ownership was always a topic.
Okay.
So it
All
was
right.
good.
And so, what do you do now?
Now I work in the IT.
Okay.
I've been in IT, mostly networking, for the past 15 years or so.
Okay. And you're an engineer. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what do that entail?
Well, my particular department, you could say, or a specialization is we deal with like security, network security, stopping different types of attacks and things of that nature.
Okay. All right. And I understand you're a family man.
Yeah, I'm about to be a family man.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks after we closed on the house, I found out that I'll be having my first child.
Okay.
That was quite a shock to me.
Yeah. So yeah, doing quite a bit of celebration, I guess.
Yes,
Yes.
it was unexpected to say the least. We
Yeah.
after we closed on the house, we kind of were like, oh, maybe in a year we'll start planning for a kid, and then 2 weeks later I find out that it's on its way already.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And so a little bit about your wife. What does she do?
She is a teacher at Sully in Sterling. She teaches third grade.
Okay. And how long you been married?
We just had our anniversary, our 2-year anniversary, last Monday actually.
Okay. And so what did you all, when y'all got married, did y'all have this dream of homeownership together? You both wanted to be homeowners? Is something
Yes.
came up afterwards?
That's definitely something that we both wanted. When we first got married, we lived with my in-laws for a little while. But there was always the goal of having our own place one day.
Yes. How was that living with the in-laws?
It was good, and I don't want to say bad, but like it's when you're living under somebody else's roof. You always have to abide by how they do things, even if it's not the way that you would do things.
Okay.
And we basically stuck to our room for the
Yes.
most part.
Yes.
Not because we were like forced to, but mostly, you don't want to impede on other people's
Right.
things, but it was definitely. I think one of our biggest problems is that we were in a bedroom basically living out of the bedroom,
Yes.
and our door didn't lock.
Oh, it didn't?
No, so it was just very inconvenient sometimes
Okay.
for that reason.
Yeah, someone just walk in. Yes, and so did you have your own kitchenette and things of that sort?
No, we shared the kitchen.
The kitchen,
And,
okay.
thankfully, my father-in-law is a good cook, so he did a
Oh,
lot of
shoot.
cooking. So
Yes.
that definitely helped out.
Okay, so the kitchen door didn't lock either.
No, no.
So you had free reign there. Well, that's great. Yes, and so so when you had the ideal of home ownership, was you when you had that ideal, were you ready to purchase at that time?
No, actually, our first major hurdle was actually my own.
Okay.
My credit at the time was um, probably, if I don't even remember, but I would have to say somewhere in the mid 400s or something.
Okay.
It was pretty low. Just I had a lot of medical debt, a lot of stuff that I had to put on credit cards, so that just kind of all snowballed.
Yes. Now, did you actually monitor your score declining at some point?
Yes. After I realized that my score was really bad,
Yes.
I had gone through bankruptcy in the past.
Okay.
And that's something that I didn't want to do again.
Okay.
So, especially with getting married and things of that nature, I didn't know how that would impact her.
Yes.
I wasn't familiar with that. So, I did some research on my own. And I came across a place called Freedom Debt Relief,
Okay.
and I didn't ask anybody. I just did my own thing because one of the stigmas of having bad credit is you don't want everybody to know
Right.
that you're in that situation. So I did my own thing and I signed up with them. It didn't go as I planned.
Yes. And so, what did they propose to you that they could do?
So at the time, all of my payments were on time.
Okay.
I was making minimum payments. I just had a lot of debt.
Okay.
But I was able to at least pay when it was due.
Okay.
What they offered me was they were gonna do like a repayment plan. They were gonna repay like one debt at a time.
Okay.
Excuse me, and worked its way through there. However, what I was told, which it didn't make sense at the time, and in hindsight, it was a mistake on my part. But when you're in a hole like that, you don't really think straight. You just
Right.
want to get out of it. They told me that I had to be late. I had to, if I wasn't 2 months behind on my bills, they couldn't work out the deals that needed to be done.
Okay.
And so they purposely held my payments for 2 months, which made my credit even worse.
Okay.
But it was one of those. They promoted it as it's gonna get worse before it gets better kind of thing, and I went with it until I was talking to my mother-in-law actually, and she's the one who was like, "You're doing what?" And it was this big. It finally came up what I was doing, and she was like, "That doesn't sound right at all."
Right.
Um,
Yes,
which,
but there's a lot of our audience, a lot of people in the audience that have went through bankruptcy and feel that there is no way that they can become a homeowner following a financial hardship like that. And so you were able to overcome that obstacle.
yes.
Yes, and now and I understand that you was introduced to First Home Alliance.
Yes.
Now, who referred you to First Home Alliance?
There's a gentleman. His name is Tom Light. I call him a financial guy.
Okay.
He works with mortgage companies and does the financial side of things. He helped my mother-in-law find her first house in Virginia.
Okay.
So she got me in touch with Tom, and then basically I spoke to Tom, and he right away told me that I needed to quit doing business with those people, call them and cancel right away.
Yes.
And then he gave me the number to First Home Alliance.
Okay.
He told me it was a non-for-profit company and that they would take care of me.
Okay.
But I was still skeptical.
Oh, of
to be
course.
honest, because of all that I had been through at that point. And my credit was so bad that I was like, "There's no way," But I went to First Home Alliance and I met with Charlene.
Yes, and David, I want you to hold that thought there.
Okay.
When we come back, I want you to explain, to us and talk to us about that experience that you had with First Home Alliance.
Okay.
And how they help you move to the next step.
Okay.
Okay. We're about to take a short break, but before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Area. If you are a first-time home buyer or homeowner in need of mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development website to find a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
With First Home Alliance. A little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that was established in 2002 by our executive director, Larry Law. He established the nonprofit. He established it because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. And everyone was like, how did you do that? Because her income was really low. And so that's how he found out about the USDA program. And so through the USDA program, his mother was able to purchase her first home. It intrigued him to see how he could help individuals basically experience the American dream of homeownership. So he established the nonprofit. Mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families. And so what does First Home Alliance do?
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block, and I'm your host, Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. If you are just now tuning in, we're joined today with a new homeowner, David Galvez. David, before the break, you was talking about being introduced to First Home Alliance, your referral there, and I think you was beginning to talk about Charlene.
Yes, Charlene was my representative that I worked with at First
Okay.
Home Alliance, Charlene Watkins Bird, and she was great, full of energy. One thing that I was kind of concerned about, like when you're in a situation where something's wrong, like your credit's bad and things of the nature, sometimes when you go to get help, they kind of look at you like there's something wrong. I've been in situations where like people completely change because your credit's bad, so you're not gonna afford what I can offer you.
Right.
Even though I was told it was free, I'm kind of skeptic by nature, so I figured there was a catch someplace.
Yes.
I was pleased to find out that there was no catch, and she was extremely helpful. She said she had no doubt that I was going to be able to improve my credit, and to the point where we both laughed about it because I was like, "There's no way."
Yes, yes. And so, it was one of the things you all did. Did she go over your budget with you?
Yes, that's actually the first thing we did.
Okay.
She went over my budget, and it's one thing that you have to be completely honest about, and it's hard for some people.
Yes, yes.
Myself included. But you have to really think about everything you spend, everything you owe, basically.
Yes, and then y'all set an action plan. And give it. Yes, and so put some steps. That you was some milestones to achieve.
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, she wanted me to pay things off. One thing I liked is that she wanted me to pay things off in a way that we could still live our life.
Okay.
That she made that clear that she didn't want me to never go out to eat
Oh,
ever
yeah.
again because I had to pay bills.
Yes.
Like she wanted to do everything like in a gradual pace,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really good.
Yes. Now, some people think that you have to come and talk to, they say a counselor, a housing counselor, which sometimes we call coaches or a homeownership advisor because counseling a little scary. But did you have to go into and meet with Charlene weekly in person?
Well, when I could, due to my work schedule, sometimes it was hard. So we would talk on the phone sometimes. Um, but um, but we did meet quite a few times,
Okay.
face to face. Just it was a matter of preference than actual need. I'm sure they could do the same things without being face to face.
Yes, okay. And documents, you was able to scan and fax and email documents? You didn't have
Yes.
to bring the hard copies in and things of that sort?
Exactly. She was extremely flexible with getting whatever paperwork she asked for because she asked for like bank statements on a monthly basis to make sure that things are going to plan. If anything needed to be tweaked, she wanted to know about it.
Yes, and probably in your situation, I don't think immediately did she have to run a new credit report right away?
No, no.
Okay.
Actually, I came in with my credit report.
Okay.
Tom had ran one just to see where I was at,
Okay.
and we basically went through my credit report and focused on what was most damaging,
Right.
like the bigger accounts and things of that nature.
Yes.
And worked our way down from there.
Yes, I like to call it when you're trying to make a repair, you have to stop the bleeding first.
Exactly.
So immediately you can look at that report and basically she can figure out where to stop the bleeding so that we can work on repairing that or restoring it. Yes, that is true.
I can't say enough about her. She's amazing. We went through the process and it was pretty painless and she was right. She told me all the time that don't worry, because I'm a warrior. I know about everything. And she was great at reassuring me that things were gonna go.
Yes. Now, when she felt that you was mortgage ready, did you go back to your mortgage loan officer at the time, back to Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
We went to Tom, and we kind of told him a little bit earlier than I was actually ready, just to give him a heads up that I was
Okay.
going to be ready. And that's another thing that I liked as well, because there was little back and forth as far as I was concerned. Charlene and Tom and my realtor, Lisa Marsh, all three of them worked together to basically, all three of them knew that I was ready when I was ready.
Okay.
There was no chasing after anybody.
Yes. And so you didn't go shopping for that house before you was mortgage ready?
No.
Well, thank you. Because it's so many people that will go out, look for the home, fall in love with that home, then now they have to go secure financing.
That's what I didn't want to do.
Yes.
The only thing we focused on, once we knew we were ready to start looking, of course, it was bringing up money for the down payment and
Yes.
for the closing costs and things of that nature.
Yes. And so what loan type did you end up using?
We did the FHA loan.
Okay.
I believe it was 3% down.
Okay.
And it was, according to Tom and to my realtor, Lisa, they just felt that was the right fit for my situation.
Okay. Now, and I would like to say, how do it feel to be a homeowner now?
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a totally different feeling when you come home and something's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize, hey, if I want, this painting on the wall, if I want to take this painting off the wall, I can do it because it's mine.
Yes.
Yes. Even just simple things like that, it makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how was that, I guess, before the closing? Did you actually do a home inspection?
Yes. We were suggested to do a home inspection, and my realtor, she pretty much demanded that we do a home inspection. She would rather be safe than sorry. And as I said previously, my dad was in construction for 30-something years. So I actually bought him to my home inspection to make sure that I was being told what was right. But but I realized that I didn't have to because the home inspector that was referred to me by my realtor, he was really knowledgeable and took the time to even go over things that might not be an issue right now,
Right.
but I would have to look, later on to try to fix it.
Yes, yeah. It definitely seemed like you definitely went through the right process to becoming a homeowner in reference to being mortgage ready, and then that relationship with the realtor and ensuring that you had a home inspection. And so I'm quite sure you did a final walkthrough inspection.
Yes.
Now, how was the closing date?
The closing was good. For the final walkthrough, I personally didn't go because I was
Yeah.
working, but my wife went with my realtor, and
Okay.
they made sure everything was intact before we closed. The closing process, for us, it was a little rushed. We found out that we needed to close in 2 weeks instead of the month that we thought we had.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of a mad dash to get paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
But we were able to get everything together. But it's things that you don't think about. Like we had gift money from her dad, for example.
Okay.
I just thought it was just telling people, oh, we got money from her dad, but it was more paperwork that we had to prove where it came from and that it's there. And,
Yes. Have to be seasoned.
at the closing, it was my wife and I and my realtor Lisa, and also Tom was there,
Okay.
and the seller was there too.
Okay.
And her representative.
All right. So you invited them all, everyone in the transaction.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so did you actually get the keys at the end at the closing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We got the keys at the closing, and everything went smooth.
Yes. And so now, do you have a favorite room in the house, a favorite section?
Actually, my living room, as soon as you walk in, is I would have to say is my favorite section because it's right in front of the TV. It's right on the couch. It's plus it has a bay window, so I can look out.
that's great.
It's just an affirmation that we made the right decision to make.
Mm-hmm. And so now, I guess, what is that overall feeling that you get that you can go home, you have your own kitchen, your own dining room, and you can call it yours?
For me, it's a sense of pride mostly because I know where I came from. I know that I've been through the whole credit situation, the debt situation, feeling like I'm never gonna get to own a home. I'm always gonna be in somebody's room.
Yes.
But to be able to work my way out in a much faster way, definitely thanks to First Home Lines. That's a definite. Like, if it wasn't for them, I'd still be living where I was before.
Yes.
So, and it was, it's just a feeling of relief.
Well, that's great. Well, David, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story and you becoming a homeowner with our audience, and look to see you around and do some celebration. Definitely celebrating a newborn that will be coming soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed the interview with David and learned from his journey towards homeownership and picked up on some things that you may encounter in your process. I challenge you not to give up hope of living the dream of homeownership. We're here to help you along the way. Now it's time to check our inbox and see how we can help rock your block. This is where we share a recent question sent to us from you, our viewing audience, about financial stability and housing. Today's question comes from Arlington, Virginia. Do I need 20% down to purchase my first home? Well, that's a good question, and the short answer is no, that you heard today. There are many programs that are set aside to help first-time home buyers. Of course, there's programs such as the VA Guarantee Loan Program for our veterans. There's FHA and VHDA programs as well. A lot of the FHA programs, you can get into a home with as little as 3.5% down. And so what I would say to prepare for that, anywhere from 3 to 6% of the home purchase price you need to set aside for down payment and closing. I am Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it's been my pleasure sharing with you our mission and highlighting people in our community that are making an impact. If you have questions about financial fitness or how we can help make your dream of homeownership a success, send your question to our inbox and tune in to our show next time to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting our website. Thank you for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
Glad to know that, some of this stuff about, like, I don't know, credit, buying houses is like written down somewhere. A lot of the times it's always hearsay, like other friends or family members who have bought houses before, but they can never, tell you legit what you need to get done and do before buying a house.
I definitely think this class should be required for all first home buyers because a lot of times the real estate agent doesn't explain the process to you. So I think this is very important.
It's from the credit up to receiving a loan, and the most important thing is the process that you go through when you're buying the house, and there are a lot of process which you don't have idea about that before you take this class.
Speakers who came up and spoke about each section, they were very knowledgeable in their field, and I felt like it was relatable. They didn't just throw out a whole bunch of terms that went over my head, but they really explained it in a way to where I understood it, and I could even explain it to my children, and it was even easier for me to take home and kind of remember and process and apply to my next steps. The process was amazing.
They start first with the class before even finding a lender or agent. So I did all that and I wasn't able to purchase, and then I was like, oh, you know what, there's a lot of information I'm not aware of. Let me just start from the beginning, to put everything on hold. Start from
Piecing the information together, because you've heard things about the loans and about this and about the credit, but this is like a summary, and it just gives a clear flow of where to go with what you have and kind of building up a plan. So that kind of gives me a whole picture of where I needed to go and how to get there.